Hey guys, it's Sarah from Sleepopolis, and today we'll be diving into the world of weighted blankets. Now, weighted blankets have become super popular in recent months, and you might have been wondering, what is a weighted blanket? How does it work? Which weighted blanket is best for me? Well, you're about to find out. All right, so I've surrounded myself in over 100 pounds of weighted blankets. I'm gonna show you what they're made of, talk a little bit about the science behind the weighted blanket and deep pressure touch, as well as go over the specific features that each of these weighted blankets have to offer. Now, of course, if you have any questions, you want a personal recommendation, please feel free to give us a shout in the comment section below and we'd be happy to help. All right, so the first weighted blanket I wanna show you is from Y&M. But before I go into the specifics of what this particular blanket is made of, I just wanna say that a weighted blanket can be covered in really any kind of fabric, but what makes it a weighted blanket is that inside it's got sewn in pockets that are filled with a weighted material, most commonly glass beads or plastic pellets. In the case of this blanket, it's covered in 100% cotton, so it's really offering this sort of nice, breathable, soft feel. And inside, it's got hypoallergenic glass beads. Now, this one right here is 20 pounds in weight, though Y&M offers blankets ranging from 5 to 25 pounds. You can definitely feel the weight of it. It's supposed to feel like sort of a big bear hug. And essentially, the whole purpose behind a weighted blanket is to offer something called deep pressure touch. And what deep pressure touch does is it helps release serotonin, which is your happy neurotransmitter, which aids in relaxation by releasing melatonin, which is our sleepy hormone. So essentially it makes you both sleepy and happy, so you can understand why they're so popular. So Y&M does make blankets for both kids and adults. The one I've got right now is 20 pounds, so definitely not for kids. As far as price is concerned, Y&M sells their weighted blankets for anywhere from $85 to about $200, and it seems like a wide range, but that's kind of often the case when it comes to weighted blankets because there's generally a pretty wide disparity of weights, and the more weighty a blanket is, the more expensive it is. And the thing I like about Y&M is that they do offer weighted blankets for kids and adults, which is why they sell those 5, 7, and 8, 9, 10 pound blankets as well. All right, here we've got arguably the most popular weighted blanket, which is the gravity blanket. Now, I've got the 25 pound blanket here, so it's feeling pretty heavy. It's the heaviest that they offer. They offer 15, 20, and 25 pounds, and it's filled with glass beads and covered in this really pretty and super soft microfiber duvet cover, which is also removable. So, this microfiber does tend to kind of feel a little warm, so if you want to remove it, there's some cooler, more breathable cotton underneath in the weighted blanket that's inside. So like I said, they do offer 15, 20, and 25 pounds, which means they don't offer blankets for kids. I say that because a weighted blanket should not really exceed more than 10% of your body weight. And since kids tend to be less than 150 pounds, I don't recommend, and experts don't recommend, that you would use these for kids. And it's really not recommended for someone of my weight either. I'm about 130, so I should stick to a blanket that's closer to 15 pounds. And this one does feel very heavy. Now, the interesting thing about gravity blankets is they're all the same price regardless of weight. So the 15 pound, the 20 pound, the 25 pound, they're all $249. And as far as I know, certainly amongst all the ones we're looking at here, gravity blanket is the only one that the price doesn't fluctuate based on weight. All right, so here I've got the Blue Minky weighted blanket from Mosaic. And they call it the Blue Minky because obviously it's this very pretty bright blue, but also it's covered in this insanely soft plush minky material that is very fun to pet. So Mosaic does offer a wide range of weights. Something to keep in mind is that weighted blankets are not meant to be slept with for the duration of the night. So you should never keep your weighted blanket on you for an 8-hour stretch. Instead, you should enjoy your weighted blanket for periods of 20 to 30 minutes at a time. And then once you take the weighted blanket off, take a good 90-minute to a 2-hour rest period. In my research, sort of researching weighted blankets, I spoke to an occupational therapist within the Sleepopolis expert network, and she told me that if you do use a weighted blanket improperly, and you keep it on for hours and hours and hours at a time, you could risk muscle fatigue and even become desensitized to the calming effects of deep pressure touch. So again, weighted blankets are not meant to be used for consecutive hours at a time, but instead use them for 20 to 30 minutes at a time with long breaks in between. And if you want to know more about all of this, I do dive into deeper detail, like I said, in my written review, which is linked below. Now, the prices for these Mosaic blankets range from about $145 to $255, depending on the weight you get. All right, so next up, I've got the weighted blanket from Blankwall. Now, it's filled with glass beads and covered in this very soft polyester fleece material. And this fleece part of it is the duvet cover, which, as you can see, has got a zipper here, so it's also removable. And again, it might not be a bad idea to remove it for when you're not trying to be super warm, because this fleece material is very warm. Now, this is the 15-pound blanket, and Blankwall does offer this blanket in 15 and 20 pounds, but that's it. So only two weight options there. So again, probably not ideal for folks who weigh much less than 150 pounds. But what's kind of nice about Blankwall is they offer this blanket, which is the original, but they also offer the Blankwall Chill, which is covered in a cooling cover fabric, so probably better suited to sleepers who run hot. But again, these blankets are not meant to cover you while you're sleeping. They're just meant to cover you for 20 to 30 minute periods. And something I kind of like about the look of this is it's got this sort of quilted pattern, which is signature for the brand. And prices range from about $169 to $249, depending on whether you get the original or the chill, and of course, depending on which weight you choose. All right, next up, we've got the weighted blanket from Hush. Now I've got the 15-pound blanket here, which again is gonna be best suited to my personal weight, but they are offered in 15, 20, and 25-pound options. Now, this right here is the weighted blanket portion, and it's filled with non-toxic plastic pellets and covered in 100% cotton. So like we saw with the blanket from Y&M, the cover fabric on the Hush weighted blanket is going to offer sort of a more cool and breathable feel. However, it does come with this removable duvet cover, which is covered in the same sort of plush, minky material that we saw with the Mosaic blanket. So it's worth noting that if you want something that's a little lighter in weight, sort of lighter and more cool in feel, I would recommend using it without the duvet cover, and the duvet cover is going to add this sort of extra cozy warmth. And the price ranges for these Hush blankets from about $159 to $179, of course, depending on the weight that you get. Okay, so next up, we've got the weighted blanket from Zonelis, and similar to the weighted blanket we saw from Y&M, this is covered in 100% cotton, so it does have a very sort of cool and breathable feel on the outside, and then the sewn-in pockets on the inside are weighted with glass beads. Now, this is the 15-pound, but they have 15 to 22 pounds. I think they've got a 20-pound as well. But again, 15 is going to be closest to 10% of my body weight, so that's what's going to work for me. And something that I like about Zonelis is that of all the blankets we're seeing here, this is the least expensive. And in my opinion, not sacrificing any quality. I'm still definitely getting that sort of bear hug, that deep pressure touch, and price ranges from about $75 to $112. So again, it's considerably less expensive than some of the other ones we're looking at here. All right, last but not least, we've got the weighted blanket from Comfort, Comfort spelled without the vowels. Now, I think this has got a pretty cool design because on the one side that you can see facing out, it's got this really soft, plush, minky material similar to what we saw from the Mosaic blanket. And it's also got these dots, which is said to add a little bit of comforting stimulation to your skin. And it's also quite warm, but on the inside, it's got this blue, cool cotton material, which is going to be more breathable, like I said, just more cool. So I think that's kind of a cool design. The weighted material that's filling this blanket is a proprietary silica blend that the folks at Comfort just say is designed to offer a more even weight distribution. I'm definitely feeling like this is pretty evenly distributed. The weights range from 16 pounds to 25 pounds. I've got the 20-pound here, which actually feeling, I mean, it is a little bit over my target zone. Like I said, I should stick to 15, but it's feeling pretty nice. I'm really enjoying the deep pressure touch that it's offering. And as far as sizing is concerned, the average weighted blanket is about the size of a throw blanket, because again, it's not intended to be like a comforter that spans the length of your entire mattress. It's just supposed to be able to cover your entire body. though some brands do offer extra large sizes so that you and a partner could get under there as well. And prices range from about $169 to $189, again, depending on the weight that you choose. Well, that wraps up this review, but if you want to learn more about deep pressure touch or these specific weighted blankets, be sure to check out my full written review, which is linked below. I do hope you found this review to be helpful, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media, as we're always going to be uploading more content with one main thing in mind: to get you the best sleep you can. Of course, if while you were watching this video any questions came up, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below and we'd be happy to help. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.